Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Today's fun fact is something that I've talked about multiple times, but I always get people who ask me questions about it, and it's how I fast draft. So I want to give you a little more insight into how I do that. And I realized that the first book in my, if I can grab it here, Piper Ashwell Psychic PI series. This came out in October of last year, and I just finished writing book 9. So that's a lot of books in the course of a year, and if you keep in mind, I write when I'm not editing for clients, so I have to kind of fit these things in, and it's not always easy. Sometimes I'll get a span of a few days, and I have to get a book written, and I don't have any other choice. So really, fast drafting for me started out of necessity because I just didn't have time to write a draft any slower than that. But I do have a few tips and tricks for how you can fast draft and get a book done that quickly. The first thing I do is the part of writing that all authors hate, and that is writing the back cover blurb. And the reason why I do that is so I have a clear idea in my head of the main components of the story and what it's going to be about. I don't spend that much time planning. I'll jot down some notes. I'll have notes about certain characters, certain clues that I want to plant, things like that. But I kind of let the story unfold as I go. And yes, that does create issues. You can write yourself into a corner and be like, I don't know how to get myself out of this, or I don't know where I'm going with this. And that happens to me often, so don't think it doesn't. When it does, I will jump ahead. I'll go to a different point in the book where I know what's going to happen, and I'll write that scene. And the whole point is to make sure that you're constantly writing. And sometimes constantly writing means writing notes for yourself. So I will actually, in my drafts, write notes that figure out how this happens or what clue could be left here. And I don't know at the time, so I'll just write myself a little note, and I know to go back and do that later. But the whole point is that I'm constantly moving my fingers across these keys, because I find that the more you do that, the more the ideas keep flowing, but you have to get into that groove. And some days I'll sit down and I really have no clue where I'm going to go with the story from the point where I left off the day before. And that's tough. But my other trick is this: do not go back and reread what you've already written, because that's going to put you in editing mode and you're going to want to try to perfect things. Fast drafting is not about perfecting what you've already written. It's about keeping the flow of writing going. So don't go back and reread. It's fine if you need to go, okay, where did I leave this scene off because I had to stop in the middle of it yesterday? See where you are and pick up, go. But don't go back and read large chunks. Don't start revising. Just don't do it. You have to keep the momentum going forward, so you never want to go backward. So yeah, I mean, basically that's what I do. I just keep myself writing. There are times when I have to stop because I need to research something. There's a lot of research involved in these books because I have police procedures, in a lot of these cases I am working with different things like poisons or, things like that. And I have to research them because I don't know that information off the top of my head. So yes, I do have to sometimes pause for those things. And I try to do a lot of that up front, but I don't always know what I'm going to need. So yes, I do have to do that. Again, I always have my story up though. So even if I have a browser tab going and I'm researching information, I'm then taking that information and I'm jotting it right into my story. So I'm not really interrupting the flow of writing too much in that aspect. But yeah, my best advice to you is get your butt in the chair, put your fingers on those keys, and don't let them stop going. Even if you get confused and you have to start writing notes to yourself just to keep the flow of writing going, then do that. Yes, sometimes I have to go back in my drafts once I'm finished, but only when I'm finished, and add things in because I skipped over it. That does happen. I came across a book the other day when I was revising. I was like, oh, look, I skipped over an entire scene, and I had to write that scene. But it's okay, it happens. Other times I will jump ahead in the story and I will get to that point, and now I have to kind of weave things together so it's seamless and you can't tell that I jumped ahead and wrote that and then went back. But it's kind of fun trying to fit all the pieces together like that. And as long as you're writing and you're getting those words down, I kind of feel like it's almost like, okay, I admit to doing this, and I know a lot of people who do this as well. When you have a to-do list and you forgot to write something on it, but you did it, so you write it on your to-do list just so you can have the satisfaction of crossing it off. Fast drafting is the same way. When you see that word count and it just keeps going up and going up and going up, it's like this sense of achievement. And when you have that, it makes you want to keep writing. So you have to get yourself to the point where you can experience that and be like, yes, the words are flowing. I've already written, 3,000 words today, whatever it is to kind of motivate you to just keep going. And I find that when you get into a groove, it's funny because the words just start, pouring out of you. And in those moments, there'll be certain times where I will write an astronomical amount of words in a single hour. And then like another hour, I might only write 1,500, which for me is not good. But, you have those kind of ups and downs and you just kind of have to roll with it and just keep writing. That's really the best advice I have for you is keep writing. So whatever it takes for you to do that, jump ahead, whatever it is. That's that's the only advice I have for you. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. So just keep trying to plug away and, do not stare at a blank screen. Do whatever you have to avoid staring at a blank screen. Honestly, you could sit there and write absolute nonsense just to keep writing and delete it later, but not now. That comes in revision. Don't worry about deleting anything or perfecting anything. Just keep writing. So, Steve, I hope that answers your question. And for those of you who are fast drafting for Nano this month, good luck. I wish you all the luck. And I'm going to go get to edits now. So have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday. Bye, guys.